Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Route Network Exploring video. Today we're going to be going over the East Gateshead network. The first route we'll be looking at is the Orbit 51 and 52. It starts at Gateshead, heads down to Low Fell, where things are incredibly rare, round Reckerton and Springwell Estate, down to Liam Lane, and then into Hewith, where it then loops back through Felling and Deckham back into Gateshead Centre. Upon leaving Gateshead Interchange, the bus heads down Jackson Street and along the High Street, the same way the 58 and the 57 head out of Gateshead. The Orbit routes use Wright streetlights, but due to high VOR and the clean air zone, they've been using Wright Geminis and Scania Omnideckers over the past few months. The route then heads up past the Civic Centre and along Prince Consort Road into Shipcote and Bensham, where we meet up with the 67. The 67 and the 69 would have made it into this video if they were still going northeast, however they're now part of Gateshead Central Taxis. After Shipcote, the bus heads along Dryden Road and onto Kells Lane, which is one of the main streets in Low Fell.
Next stop, Kells Lane, Blind Horse.
The bus then takes a short run through Beacon Loft and heads down to Harlow Green, and from this part of the route you can see the Angel of the North, which stands tall above Gateshead. We then drop into Reckerton, where when they get a deal you can get a deal, and we meet up with the 56, the X1, the 82, you name it. Once the bus reaches Lanchester Terrace, it turns left and heads through Springwell Estate. And it's here we meet the 51 heading the other way. This one was a DFDS green Omnidecker which transferred from Percy Main not that long ago. We then run down the bank into one of the best estates in Gateshead and into Fewster Square, where we meet the 57 and the 58 once again. As these buses orbit Oliver Henderson Park, you're able to see where you were just 5 minutes ago when the bus turned into Fewster Square. And there's the 69 on Watermill Roundabout, which would have been in this video, but like I said before, is no longer going northeast. And then we arrived at Hewith, where you can connect to all the other East Gateshead routes, as well as the Metro and National Rail. The bus then works its way up the drive into Felling, where there's an Asda and lots of other shops, and you can also connect to all the other East Gateshead routes here. And then we head up Caldwell Lane to get up to Car Hill. After Car Hill we head back down Old Durham Road, back into Gateshead, having completed the full Orbit route.
Gateshead High Street.
And then I had a quick walk through Gateshead Interchange to catch my next bus all the way down to Wardley. That's right, it's the 57. The 57 starts in Newcastle, heads down to Gateshead before heading up Old Durham Road all the way to Beacon Loft, then heading back down to Liam Lane, into Hewith and around to Wardley, where it does a massive loop and then heads back to Hewith. There's also some nighttime runs which run from Hewith to Hewith via Wardley. Now, this route is split in two because I recorded some of it one way and some of it the other. So we're going to start here in Whitehills Estate and head up to Newcastle, then the second half will be from Hewith to Wardley. So, we go through Whitehills Estate, passing through Woodburn, and where the 58 usually turns right, we turn left and head up towards Sudbury Road and Beacon Loft. After Beacon Loft, we head up to Old Durham Road, where you can see a City Rider 56 heading towards Sunderland. And an 82 heading the same direction towards Waterview Park. We reach the top of Sheriff Hill, stopping at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, and then it's a large downhill run down Old Durham Road to Gateshead.
Durham Road, Split Crow Road.
And there's an opposite bound 57 heading towards Wardley. And there is the 52 on Jackson Street, one of the other East Gateshead routes that we meet lots of times along the way.
This is the 57 service to Newcastle.
And here's part 2, from Heworth to Wardley and back. The bus races along the Felon bypass until just before Whitemere Pool, where it turns into Wardley and heads down Sunderland Road and into Whitemere Gardens. Wardley's got everything.
Does it have a brand?
Excellent question. Actually, the Yutong E12s that are currently on the Q3 are meant to be for the 57. Just imagine if that still went ahead. The bus then turns on to Manor Gardens, where it takes it all the way to the bottom and then turns right to head into Ellen Wilkinson Estate. After Ellen Wilkinson, we head out of Wardley through Kirkwood Gardens, pass over the Felon bypass, and head back down towards Heworth. Maybe.
Oh, 558. No about again.
And now we change over at Heworth for the best East Gateshead brand. That's right, it's time for the East Gateshead Rider 58. The 58 and the 57 take the same route out of Newcastle through Gateshead and up Old Durham Road. However, the 58 runs out through Deckham and into Felon, and then along through Whitehills into Leam Lane. From here, the 58 and the 57 are the same, until the end of the Felon bypass, when the 58 comes off along Leam Lane and heads down to Follingsby Park and Amazon. It's also worth mentioning the X58 Amazon shuttle, which runs on a morning and an afternoon. I'm riding the entire route from Market Street all the way to Follingsby Amazon, which takes about 45 minutes. This route uses Wright Gemini 2s branded in a two-tone red livery, and used to use Versas and Citaros before that. Fun fact, the 58 is the only East Gateshead route to use a different stop in Felon Square. The 51, 52, 93, 94 all use Crow Hall Lane, but the 58 uses Coldwell Lane. After Felon, like the map says, the bus heads up to Windy Nook, and then down to Whitehills Estate, where we met the other 58. However, because we were running slightly late, we should have met it just after Fewster Square. Speaking of Fewster Square, that's our next major point on the route, and it's here where we met another 57 heading towards Newcastle. We then turn into Heworth for the second last time on our trips today. and then head back out onto the Felon bypass. Here we get a good view of some of the routes that actually serve Heworth, including the Crusader 27 and the East Gateshead Orbit 51. The 58 comes off the Felon bypass at Wardley Slip Road and heads along Lingy Lane towards Follinsby Park and Amazon. When we turn into Follinsby Park, we meet the Connections 4 service, which also serves Amazon, and the army of prime vans taking people's deliveries to their houses. And I got off the bus at arguably one of the biggest factories ever built recently in the northeast, and hundreds of people work here. In fact, it's so big it's actually split into two factories, NCL1 and DNE2. I then used the Go Northeast app to try and track my bus to get back down to Heworth, where I'd connect to one of the other East Gateshead services, the East Gateshead Loop 93 and 94. The loop begins in Gateshead and heads down towards Salt Meadows Estate, then into the Old Fold and into Heworth, before heading up to Felon, past the Kiwi Hospital into Low Fell, and then down into Team Valley Trading Estate. After that, it heads up Bensham Bank and back into Gateshead Interchange. However, we're going to do this route in reverse. So immediately after leaving Gateshead, we head up towards the roundabout on Prince Consort Road and head down Bensham Bank towards Team Valley.
Next stop, Bensham Road, Mulgrave Villas. Next stop, Lobley Hill Road, Newbury Avenue. Next stop, Team Valley, Kingsway North.
After Marquis Way, we head down to Team Valley Sainsbury's, one of the major points in Team Valley. It's even got its own free shuttle service, which runs Monday to Saturday. After a short jaunt up Chowdene Bank and through Beacon Loft, we reach the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Excluding the 67 and the 69, this is the only route to actually serve the hospital right outside the car park gate. 57 stops just across the road.
Next stop, Coldwell Lane, Rectory Road.
We then head back down into Felon again, stopping at Crowhall Lane Asda like I said before. And heading down Watermill Lane back into Heworth. After Heworth, the loops then run along the bypass, heading along Hepburn Gardens and Pattinson Gardens, and then running into Old Fold. The loop routes are also the only routes to serve Gateshead Stadium, which is Gateshead FC's home ground. We then also pass Go Northeast's The Works, where buses get worked on, repainted and repaired. The bus then also serves Gateshead College and the to-be Sage Arena. And then heads back into Gateshead Interchange, where we conclude our East Gateshead journey today. So we've covered all the East Gateshead routes that have an East Gateshead brand and the 57. And you may just think of it as a normal bus route with just going through some normal estates, but if you look even closer, you'll see it's a big network connecting lots of communities in East Gateshead.